So you got Mario for Nintendo, you got Master Chief for Xbox, but who does PlayStation have? As much as I love the Welcome Park man, he's not really a mascot. PlayStation does not have one single identifiable mascot. What they do have is an ever-rotating cast of characters that changes depending on what the generation is. The character I'm going to be focusing on today in this video is, of course, Kratos of God of War. Ever since 2005, once God of War hit PlayStation 2, Kratos has always been one of these mascot characters that Sony likes to promote. So there have been 7 mainline God of War games. I'm not counting God of War Betrayal, by the way. But since Kratos became a mascot for PlayStation, he's made guest appearances in quite a few video games. Kratos has been hoarded out in almost every other video game, so let's go over each and every single one of them. God of War is a pretty action-heavy game, so you would naturally think that Kratos would be a perfect fighting game character, and luckily for you, he's not only in one, not only in 2, but 3 different fighting games. Let's go in chronological order, and start with the first one, which is Soulcalibur Broken Destiny for the PlayStation Portable. Broken Destiny released in August 2009, so this version of Kratos is more or less a blend of God of War 1 and God of War 2 Kratos. As one would expect, Kratos fights with the Blades of Chaos, but he also has other weapons like the Blade of Olympus, Poseidon's Rage, and the Icarus Wings in this iteration. Kratos also has a stage in this game. It's called Challenge of the Gods. It's based on God of War 1. It's that temple that's guarding Pandora's box, which was cool to see, and I honestly think Kratos was treated really well here. He fits the Soulcalibur fighting style. He's fun to play, so let's go on to fighting game number 2. That's right, Kratos appeared in Mortal Kombat 9 as the first ever guest character in that franchise. 12-year-old me tuned into the Spike Video Game Awards 2010, expecting something cool. And while that show was filled with celebrity endorsements, there were a few cool announcements, including that reveal trailer, which blew my 12-year-old mind back in the day. Kratos was an exclusive character to both the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita versions of Mortal Kombat, and I have to say, he fits really well in this game. Mortal Kombat is hyper-violent, God of War is hyper-violent. It just seemed like a match made in heaven. God of War 3 came out around March of 2010, and as you expect, this iteration of Kratos in Mortal Kombat was based on God of War 3. Kratos uses different weapons from God of War 3 in his moveset, including the Bow of Apollo and the Boots of Hermes. Just like Soulcalibur, Kratos also comes with a stage, but unfortunately that's not on the Vita version, only on the PS3 version. RIP Vita, we miss you. The Chamber of Flame doesn't have just one stage fatality, it has 3. And of course, Kratos comes with his own fatalities, and he also has this pretty funny babality. Since Mortal Kombat and God of War are hyper-violent, you can argue that this collaboration kinda makes sense in a way, and I personally thought it was pretty cool. So with that out of the way, let's move on to our third and final fighting game. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, a divisive game, but to be honest, it's one that's pretty important to me, so just expect a little bit of bias up front, I have to be honest here. Of course, Kratos was going to be a playable character in PlayStation All-Stars, like that's pretty much expected. It's like having a Smash Brothers game without Mario, it's like you kinda expect him to be there, you know? During development of this game, I think Kratos was the first character that was fully finished and playable. Superbot worked closely with Sony Santa Monica during development of this game, so it was pretty expected to see Kratos front and center, like he's literally front and center on the box art. But is Kratos and the God of War franchise well represented in PlayStation All-Stars? Yes. Yes, they are. Let's start with Kratos himself. He has 4 different alternate costumes. He has his default look, he has the armor of Morpheus, he has Deimos, which is his brother by the way, and he has the Warrior of Apollo. Kratos' moveset is a mashup of all of the God of War games, so he has moves from God of War 1, 2, 3, and even Ghost of Sparta. Kratos is an all-around character, and people argued that he was like too powerful, but I personally disagree. So there was a God of War stage in PlayStation All-Stars. It's called Hades, which is based on God of War 3, The Underworld, with Hades in the background, slamming you as you're fighting your opponent. God of War also appears as a mashup in the Ratchet & Clank stage, Metropolis, where the Hydra from the original God of War appears to attack the opponents. There's also 3 items from God of War. These include the Spear of Destiny from God of War 2, the Boots of Hermes from God of War 3, and Medusa's Head from God of War 1. Other characters from the God of War franchise also appear as minions. What are minions? Well, they suck. Okay, personal feelings aside, the minions are Athena, Poseidon, Hades, the Colossus of Rhodes, and last but not least, Polyphemus from God of War Ascension. And that's pretty much it for Kratos and God of War in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Oh yeah, I'm forgetting someone, aren't I? Alright, I should mention that Zeus was also added as a DLC character in PlayStation All-Stars, despite no one ever asking for him. Let's move on. Okay, so with the fighting games out of the way, Kratos has also appeared in a multitude of other video games. Let's start with Little Big Planet. As a pre-order bonus for the original Little Big Planet, customers received costumes for Sackboy Kratos, Sackboy Medusa, and a Sackboy Minotaur, as well as a God of War level sticker kit. These were later released as DLC. That wasn't the only crossover between Little Big Planet and God of War. Little Big Planet received a second cosmetic pack of God of War around the time God of War 3 Remastered was coming out, so this would be around early 2015. So in this one you got Kratos again, but instead of regular Kratos, it was Fear Kratos. And there are also other costumes in this pack like Hades, Athena, Poseidon, Hercules, and Zeus. In the realm of Little Big Planet, but not quite, Kratos also appeared in Mod Nation Racers. Originally as a pre-order bonus, but later released as DLC, this was Kratos in the Mod Nation Racer style, and it also came with a God of War cart as well. Unfortunately, the DLC has been delisted, so it's no longer possible to obtain this DLC. Kratos also appeared in another Media Molecule game, this one being Tearaway Unfolded for the PlayStation 4. So we got the Media Molecule and the Mod Nation Racers guest appearances out of the way, so let's move on to Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds. Just like Little Big Planet, Hot Shots Golf is no stranger to crossovers, so that's why not only Kratos is in this game, but also Sackboy and Toro. So keeping it in the realm of PlayStation exclusives, Heavenly Sword, that God of War clone from Sony and Ninja Theory back on the PlayStation 3, had an Easter egg for Kratos, which is pretty cool. Probably the weirdest crossover on this list, Kratos and other God of War characters appeared in Destiny of Spirits. What is Destiny of Spirits? Well, no one really knows. Okay, for real though. Destiny of Spirits was a free-to-play online social strategy game for the PlayStation Vita. The game is centered on collecting and summoning these legendary spirits in turn-based battles, but unfortunately the game only lasted a year until servers shut down. The Kratos appearances do not stop there. He also appeared as a boss character in Shovel Knight exclusively for the PlayStation 3, 4, and Vita versions. I believe this is Kratos' first appearance in an indie game, which is pretty cool. And of course, I have to mention the Kratos armor set in Ghost of Tsushima. It's just pretty much the Samurai clan armor. I think it's the Sakai clan armor, but God of War themed, which is pretty cool. And now onto our final two video game collaborations between God of War and other properties. The first one, of course, is Astro's Playroom. You see Kratos with his son Atreus, so this is clearly the Norse version. And going on with the Norse theme, we have one last collaboration we have to talk about, and this one's personally my favorite. Right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide. Yes, Kratos is in Fortnite. It's kind of to be expected at this point. If you're a popular character in media, you're probably going to be in Fortnite. Kratos comes with the standard Fortnite cosmetics, so instead of a pickaxe, you have a Leviathan axe. Instead of a hang glider, you have a glider that's based on the Guardian shield. And if you have a PlayStation 5 with the Kratos skin, you get an extra variant costume, which is the Valkyrie armor from God of War, which is pretty cool. And that does it for Kratos' guest appearances in other video games. Yeah, so Kratos is quite the whore, is he not? But that does it for me. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a dislike. Comment below, let me know which one is your favorite Kratos appearance. Mine is PlayStation All-Stars, obviously. But yeah, subscribe as well, it helps out the channel. And that pretty much does it for me. I don't know what video I'm going to be making next, but I'm sure it's probably going to be stupid. And with that, I'm Real Radic, and I'm signing off.